What's up, guys? So we have a question from Dennis about old friends dragging him down. So he says that he's gotten into jiu-jitsu about 2 years ago, and he says jiu-jitsu has caused him to go into such a positive direction. He's, gotten better shape. He's no longer using drugs. He's not smoking cigarettes and junk anymore. He doesn't eat bad food. All these things are good. He's around positive people. He says jiu-jitsu has helped give his life direction and helped him go into a positive sort of place. And I noticed from a lot of experience, a lot of times people come into jiu-jitsu looking for something, right? They don't know what it is, but they're looking for something. And a lot of times through the physical exertion, you can find meaning, and you can find direction. I've seen this with a lot of people after divorces or after family deaths, or people in your situation where you're basically having substance abuse issues, and you find a positive place. So it's awesome. I'm happy for you. The issue that Dennis is having, though, is that old friends that he used to do these things with, like eat terrible food, do drugs, all this stuff, they are still doing what they're doing. And whenever they get together with Dennis gets sucked back into that, right? He goes back to his old ways, and he finds himself doing the same old stuff, and he hates it, but he likes his friends. So he's not sure what to do. And so he says recently, kind of where the kicker is, and where he says he feels like something's got to give, is that he was, planning on training later that night and doing a drilling session with a friend early before class started. Well, he said he wanted to get together with one of his old friends, before he did that. Well, they get together, and before you know it, they're doing drugs. I think they were smoking weed or something and whatever else. And then he ends up eating a bunch of Cheetos and bad food. He said Cheetos, by the way. Cheetos and bad food. And then he has to call his friend that he was supposed to drill with and go, I'm sick. He had to lie to him because he's messed up, and he felt really terrible about it. And so he's wondering, like something's got to give. What do you think I should do? And he's asking if I have any experience in the situation. So Dennis, thank you for the question, and I do have experience in the situation, and I definitely wanted to do this question for you today. So my best friend, and from high school until I was about 20 years old, him and I did everything together. From freshman year, we started wrestling together. We did jiu-jitsu together. We went to the same high school parties together. We won regionals together. We went to state together. We did everything together back in the day. But when we got out of high school, we both started doing jiu-jitsu initially, and he was better than I was. He, as a white belt, 2 weeks experience as a wrestler, he jumps into his first tournament, jumps guard, does a spider guard to triangle, 2 people, chokes him out. That's how he wins. I was like, what? Like, you didn't even do a takedown or anything, right? It was awesome. He was so far ahead of me in 2 weeks. Like, he was doing things in 2 weeks that I didn't do for another 6 months. And that was awesome. But the only issue with him is he loved to party and do drugs. And he told me at one point that he did every single drug that you can do that you don't have to inject. Did some hard shit. And so that was a direction that I didn't want to go in, right? Because I was like, I'm trying to live this healthy lifestyle. I want to get bigger and stronger, more muscular. I wanted to do all these things. And that's not something you do if you're trying to do these things. At least I didn't think so. And so I started to distance myself with him already. But, we were still friends. I still liked him a lot. He was my best friend. Love the dude. And then when I was 20 years old, we had our last little hangout, which was we were going to a comedy show, him and his friend, me and my girlfriend, and we'd set it up because they had a under 21 night. So we're going to go there and hang out. We're both 20. And this is my girlfriend and my first real girlfriend that I've been dating for about a month and a half. So I'm super excited to introduce her to him. Like, here she is, or here he is. This is my best friend in the whole world right here, right? Super pumped about it. So we get to the comedy place early. I buy the tickets, and I'm waiting for him and his friend to show up. They waltz in eventually, and when they come in, they look like this. The eyeballs are all messed up and stuff. And they said that before they were in, they smoked weed and did something called Xanny bars. I don't know what Xanny bars is, maybe Xanax or something. But whatever it is, it makes you do this. I don't know why you would want to do something like that. Well, I don't know why you would want to go about life like that, but whatever, right? So they did this, and they walk in, they're completely just tore up. And so I'm like, oh, hey, this is my best friend right here. He's tore up with his other friend. But whatever, we go downstairs and we go to this comedy show, and we're watching these comedians go. Here's the best part of the story. So we're sitting there. They cut up a straw, and they're crushing pills up and snorting stuff. I think it was Oxycontin or something. And then they're these guards or these security guys are looking over what the fuck are they doing? And they're sitting there snorting pills, and I'm just oh my God. I'm terrified because I'm man, they're going to get me in trouble because they're ever doing drugs. My buddy's friend passes out. He's just laying on the table. My friend, my best friend, he's slumped over with his forehead touching his knees in his lap. He's just slumped over, just dead, just about, right? And the comedian would tell a joke. The best part of the story right here. Comedian would tell a joke, And then after we all laughed, and then we stopped laughing, and then the comedian would go to the next joke, my buddy, as the comedian's just talking normally, would spring up right from his lap and he started laughing. And it's not even it wasn't even his normal laugh. It was that kind of laugh. I was like, what is this? He's slapping his hip and everything else, and then it was like you turned him on and turned him back off. It was the strangest thing, and I was so embarrassed. And so afterwards, when they were getting ready to leave, him and his friend were getting ready to get in the car. I went and grabbed his keys and I ran and put them in a bush. And I was basically like, I'll tell you where they are in the morning, but I'm not going to. You're not leaving right now driving a car because you're too messed up. You live 2 blocks away. You can walk. But that was pretty much the last time I ever hung out with him. It would be another 7 years, and he ended up getting shot, doing bad stuff, right? So stuff happens. And so at that point, though, when I was 20, I separated. Right? And I've had to do that with not just my friends, but relationships with girls, with family members, people that just, are not in alignment with where I'm going. I separate. It's just the way I am. I don't know that everybody does it or if you should do it, but it's what I've had to do because when you get around those people, you are the company you keep. And I find that, again, when I was hanging around a guy like him, sometimes I would end up doing stuff. I never did anything bad. I would smoke weed a couple times, right? But it's just, or I would drink, right? And I don't want to drink all the time. It's just not part of my lifestyle that I want. And so I had to separate because I didn't want to go down that path. I noticed that when I would be around negative people, like relationships or family, that are always negative, always something bad, right? I would start being negative, and I'm not a negative person. So I got to go this way, you go this way. And so for you, brother, I would say the same thing. If you're asking me for like what I would say, well, this is what I've done. Is anytime I'm around people where they're not in alignment with where I'm going, I got to get away from them. It's not out of like I'm better than you. It's just I'm going this direction, you're going this direction. We're literally going 2 different directions, and I don't want to follow you. So you go your direction, I go mine, and then we just do our thing, right? I'll still talk to you because me and my buddy, we'd still talk from time to time. I just didn't want to hang out with him because there was too much pressure all the time of him being messed up. And again, it was incredibly embarrassing to hang out with someone that's that tore up just for, random stuff. And so for you, I would say the same thing. You have your old friends. They're not pulling you down out of malice. That's how they're used to being, right? They're used to being that way. They're used to you being Dennis where, hey, let's hang out, Dennis. Let's do some drugs and eat Cheetos. That's what you guys are used to doing. And so they're pulling you back into that. And so you are the company you keep, brother. So you can keep being pulled down by that if you want to, because it's going to happen. Or you can just say, listen, I'm going in a different direction than you guys. I still like you guys. We can talk from time to time, but I'm going here and you are going there, and just separate a little bit. Just create separation from them. And I honestly, I wouldn't hang out too often, or if at all, because again, you don't want to get pulled into that situation over and over and over again. And if they ask, just let them know. Say, I just don't want to do these drugs, and this happens every time we hang out. So that would be my suggestion to you, brother. Whether or not you choose to use it is up to you, but good luck to your situation with that, and good luck with your training in the future, Dennis. Thank you so much for the question. Guys, I'll talk to you next time.